Hello everyone, my name is Theresa and today I'm going to talk about waste disposal. It's an environmental issue that I'm very passionate about because I am a small business owner of a candle company and I've made it my mission this year to sell more eco-friendly candles as well as find sustainable packaging. And so I wanted to highlight how this is something we all should be paying attention to when it comes to an environmental issue. So what is waste disposal? Waste disposal is the process that we use to manage the everyday waste that we create. So let's briefly just go over some common methods. We have first our landfills, which these are large sites where waste is buried and it's usually isolated from the environment so that it's not contaminating the rest of us. Then we have incineration, which it involves like a process of burning the waste at very high temperatures that helps to reduce the volume of it. You also have waste compaction, where they are taking the waste and they're compressing it really, really small to help reduce its volume and making it easier to transport. We also have something, it's called biogas generation. And this is like an interesting process where you take organic waste and you break it down without oxygen to produce biogas. And they're trying to use that for energy. We also have composting, which is where we take our leftover table scraps. You take your cardboard boxes and you put it into the soil so it decomposes naturally, and that helps to give you more of an enriched soil that you can reuse. And then finally, there's the thing that we all know is recycling, where we're taking materials and we're making it in a process till we can reuse it, make new products, and really just reducing the need for more raw materials and conserving the resources that we currently have. And then there's the most critical question. Where is waste disposal being most studied? And it is being studied in waste management. According to Allied Market Research, by 2027, waste management market is expected to be worth $229 billion. And we all know you follow where the money is at. The common theme that I found in waste management is that most of the research is going to be focused on landfills. If you take a look at the image on the screen, you'll notice that reduce, reuse, repurpose, recycle, recover are all other places that we can be focusing our study. But the most common place that household trash and a lot of waste ends up at is in landfills. And this is the least preferred method when it comes to waste. Because landfills are the least preferred, but actually the most common place for waste to end up at, I wanted to focus in on what a landfill is. There are three types of landfills. You have your municipal solid waste landfills, which is for our household waste and your everyday trash, which is very common. You have hazardous waste landfills, which are really designed for waste that poses some kind of significant risk to health or the environment. And then you also have waste, which is going to be things from construction sites, demolition activities, or large corporations and companies. So it would make one think, what is happening to our trash after we throw it away? In order to answer that question, I need to fill you in a little bit about what happens at a landfill. We have landfill cells that are active and that are closed. An active landfill cell has different layers to it, and it is open to still receiving trash, where a closed landfill has a topsoil and some additional layers to it so that it's closed off and is no longer receiving trash. If you take a look at the image, the one on the left is more of an open, active landfill cell, where the one to the right has been closed off and really just looks like your everyday grass with the trash being sealed off underneath. Something important to mention that is once a cell is closed and capped, that must be monitored for at least 30 years. And that's where some problems can arise, because this is where we pose the most environmental risks if it's not properly managed. So let's quickly run down the environmental issues with waste disposal. Number one is pollution. These landfills can leak harmful chemicals into the soil and into that groundwater, which is at the bottom of that landfill cell. When incineration is reducing waste, it can also release toxins into the air. The next cause for concern is health risks, especially to the public. Communities that are near landfills or even incineration plants can suffer and find things like respiratory problems and other health issues. The Lancet Commission on Pollution and Health found that in 2019, diseases caused by pollution and mismanagement of waste was responsible for nearly 11 million premature deaths. That is 16% of all global deaths. In addition to affecting humans' health, it also is loss of biodiversity, the pollution that affects wildlife habitats. It leads to declining in species and really the whole ecological imbalance. And finally, another significant problem is going to be resource depletion. Many of these items that are making it to waste are non-renewable resources. They are ending up at landfills and they're being lost instead of recovered through a recycling program or being redistributed through our systems. But here's the good news. There are solutions, researchers and environmental advocates and scientists looking for different solutions to this waste disposal problem. So Dr. Kunming Yang, who's the assistant professor of civil and environmental engineering over at USC, is developing a bio-inspired material that can heal itself and help to reduce negative impact on industrial waste. This is all going to be tied into like the construction arena, which does develop a lot of the emission gas that are produced in the world. Another solution is from Megan Pfizer, who's an assistant professor of chemistry also at USC, who is looking for friendlier ways to break down plastics and other non-biodegradable materials. She's looking to recycle plastics and just turn them into higher value products. That way we're reducing our household waste. And although this is not a scientist or a researcher, her name is Shelby and she's on YouTube. She goes, do your best and advocate for the rest. And I think that's just important because she's encouraging us as individuals from a household perspective to really just do your best when it comes to reducing your own waste and also advocate for better systems regarding waste disposal in totality. And finally, I want to leave you with this. Proper waste management of waste disposal is a symptom to a larger issue. While it's important for us to manage our waste, we also must hold companies and larger corporations accountable for their packaging choices and how they also dispose of waste. It is unrealistic to place an entire burden of sustainability on us as individuals and consumers. However, that change can only start when we as consumers advocate for better practices. So consider looking at your favorite brands in your household and letting them know via email that you love their products, but it's time for us to see more sustainable packaging so that we can do our part at reducing waste altogether. Thank you.